This video has been produced by ALLMI and is intended to provide guidance and basic information to users of lorry loaders with swing-up stabilisers, as well as those responsible for supervising such operations. The video does not negate the requirement for appropriate, full training and familiarisation to be provided on all types of lorry loader. Lorry loaders are fitted with stabilisers to aid vehicle stability during lifting operations. The stabiliser leg is attached to a beam that extends out from the transport position to increase the stability footprint, before the foot is then lowered onto a spreader mat to stabilise the vehicle. In some cases, to negate the need for large-scale relocation of chassis furniture during installation, lorry loaders may be fitted with swing-up stabilisers. These are also known as tilting or rotating stabilisers. Swing-up stabilisers may be manually or hydraulically operated, either by levers at the crane base or via remote control, dependent upon specification. The stabiliser leg is stowed in a raised position and, once the beam has been extended, has to be lowered or rotated downwards as part of its deployment. The leg is then raised or rotated upwards into the vertical position again at the end of crane operations, and before the beam is fully retracted to allow it to be stowed and secured for travel. In some cases, the swing-up stabiliser rotates towards the levers at the crane base. This creates a potential risk of injury if the manufacturer's instructions are not followed. In other words, if the leg has not been raised into the fully upright position before the stabiliser beam is fully retracted. Some sites may insist that where a swing-up stabiliser rotates across the position of fixed controls, a second person, a spotter, is required to observe the retraction of the stabiliser leg. Where this is potentially the case, the appointed person should discuss the requirements with the site and ensure that risk control measures are covered in the lift plan. The spotter and the operator should agree on the correct method of stowing the stabilisers prior to commencing operations. This will be recorded in the lift plan and should be based on the manufacturer's instructions as well as the procedures explained in this video. Stowing of the swing-up stabilisers should then be carefully observed to ensure that the required practice is followed. The spotter and operator should agree the signal to be given in the event of a problem. The spotter gives the standard hand signal for emergency stop, 2 hands raised with palms facing forward, which must be accompanied by a shout of "Stop now!" in case the operator hasn't observed the signal. It should be agreed that in the event of this signal being given, the operator will stop immediately. The spotter must be positioned safely away from the moving components outside the swing-up arc of the stabiliser leg and allowing a full view of the stabiliser leg, stabiliser beam and the lorry loader operator at all times, and details of where to position may be included in the lift plan. This section explains the correct method for stowing swing-up stabilisers. The stabiliser foot should first be raised. The operator now unlocks the stabiliser to permit the swing-up function. Note that this system will vary depending on the manufacturer. To avoid risk of injury, the stabiliser leg must be rotated into the fully raised position, where the operator observes movement of the leg at all times. The operator must now lock or pin the leg, where the design requires it, in its correct upright travel position. The raising of the leg and locking in position must be carried out before the stabiliser beam is retracted, unless specified otherwise in the manufacturer's instructions. With the leg now pinned or locked in its correct upright travel position, it's safe for the operator to retract the leg beam. As previously stated, the operator must observe movement of the leg at all times. With the stabiliser correctly stowed, the operator can now secure it for travel, and the manufacturer's instructions should be followed since the required method can vary. This section shows how swing-up stabilisers may be used incorrectly, and therefore when the spotter should act immediately by issuing the emergency stop signal and the stop now instruction. Here, the leg has been raised, but not into its fully upright position, where the operator is about to retract the leg beam. Immediately upon seeing this, the spotter gives the emergency stop signal, reinforced by a verbal instruction to "Stop now." The operator should ensure the leg is locked in its fully upright position before the beam is retracted to the stowed position. Here, the operator is using two levers together, raising the leg while simultaneously retracting the beam, and the spotter acts immediately, giving the visual and verbal emergency stop signals. The operator should use the levers independently, ensuring the leg is first fully raised and locked in the upright position before then retracting the leg beam. Here, the operator is not fully observing the movement of the stabilizer, where again the spotter acts immediately, giving the visual and verbal emergency stop signals. The operator must fully observe the movement of the stabilizer throughout the stowing process. This section explains the action to be taken where the swing-up stabilizers are operated by remote control, rather than by fixed levers. The operator must be positioned safely away from moving components, which includes standing outside the swing-up arc of the stabilizer leg. Details of where to position may be included in the lift plan. The same procedure must then be followed even with remote control. The operator must first ensure that the leg has been raised and locked in its fully upright position. However, note that some manufacturers will first require the beam to be partially retracted with the leg in the downward vertical position before then being raised into the fully upright position. The stabilizer beam can then be retracted into the correct stowing position and be secured for travel in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. If the battery for the remote control unit goes flat, the operator will need to change it for the spare battery that should be on charge, and assuming the spare battery is functioning correctly, stowing of the stabilizer in the correct manner as described earlier can then be completed. But if there's an issue with the spare battery, the operator will need to use the umbilical cord. This allows the remote control unit to receive power from the loader crane. Assuming the umbilical cord is functioning correctly, stowing of the stabilizer in the correct manner can be completed. If the umbilical cord has not been provided or is faulty, the stabilizers will need to be stowed using manual levers. In many cases where the stabilizers are operated by remote control, there will be no fixed levers in place, where in these circumstances the operator may be provided with emergency levers to recover the lorry loader for travel. With the emergency levers in place, the stabilizer must again be stowed, following the same guidance previously covered for the use of fixed levers. Note that in some cases, one lever may need to be operated just to make the emergency control function live, with a second lever then used solely for stabilizer movement. And should there be no emergency levers provided to allow recovery into the stowed position, then the operator will need to contact a service engineer for assistance. In addition to those operated by remote control, there are other types of swing-up stabilizer that do not present the same potential risk of injury as those that rotate across fixed levers. Here, the stabilizer legs swing up away from the operator's position, and it will be necessary to check this on both sides of the vehicle, as the leg may swing away from the operator's position on one side, but across the operator's position on the other. Here, the swing-up function is manual rather than hydraulic, meaning the operator is required to manually raise and lock the leg in the upright position. This avoids the risk of injury, since the stabilizer leg cannot be held in any position other than fully raised or fully lowered whilst the leg beam is being operated. Some manufacturers have safety systems available that prevent full retraction of the stabilizer beam when the leg is not locked in the fully upright position. And for further details on the availability and installation of these safety systems, please contact the loader crane manufacturer. Most manufacturers have signed up to ALLMI's Swing-Up Stabiliser Compliance Register, which allows site personnel to quickly confirm whether a crane with swing-up stabilisers meets with requirements of Tier 1 contractors. Look out for the ALLMI QR code on swing-up stabiliser legs, but note that some manufacturers have a QR code system of their own in place that serves the same purpose. Here's a short summary of the key points to remember. Ensure the stabilizer leg has been locked or pinned in its fully raised position before the leg beam function is operated. Note that some manufacturers will first require the beam to be partially retracted with the leg in the downward vertical position before then being raised into the fully upright position. Only with the leg locked or pinned in its fully raised position should the leg beam be retracted into the transport position. The operator must fully observe the movement of the stabiliser leg at all times. For stabilisers operated by remote control, the operator must be positioned outside the swing-up arc of the stabiliser leg. This is also the case for the spotter when observing the operation, as well as any other personnel. If failure of the remote control unit means emergency levers have to be used, the same procedure for operating with fixed levers must be followed. And finally, the operator must be fully conversant with and follow the manufacturer's instructions for the loader crane being used. ALLMI has published additional resources that are freely available to all via the ALLMI website. ALLMI's Safety Alert for Swing-Up Stabilisers, ALLMI's Guidance Note GN033, and ALLMI's e-learning module. Many sites will request evidence that this has been completed before allowing people to undertake the role of operator or spotter for this type of equipment. If you need further information on swing-up stabilisers, then please contact ALLMI. And remember, if you see a lorry loader operator using swing-up stabilisers incorrectly, please help to protect them by sharing the advice contained within this video. Thank you for watching.